Hi, welcome to the Old Geezer's Diary. It's Tuesday the 30th of July 2019. Were you watching TV yesterday evening? If you weren't and you are a frequent air traveller, there's something you need to watch. It's all about the new 737 MAX Boeing aircraft and the problems that Boeing have had with it and won't admit to over the past year or two. Hi, hello and welcome again to the Old Geezer's Diary. It's really a question of looking around from my point of view to see what strange things are happening in the world. And last night I saw something seriously strange on my television. I saw one of the world's biggest airliner constructing companies, Boeing of the United States, kind of trying to skid their way out of responsibility for building an aircraft, two of which have crashed in the last year or two, brand new, and to kind of say, oh, it was a chain of events, when all the investigations that have taken place on those two crashes have indicated it's just one single source of problems. I was gobsmacked to see it. If you haven't seen it, what I watched was something called, let me actually read you the title of the programme. It was called Boeing's Killer Planes, and it was on the BBC. It was a Panorama programme, half an hour long. If you haven't seen it and you are a frequent flyer, I would recommend that you watch it as soon as you can, really. The reporter is a guy called Richard Bilton, and he did an amazing job of actually putting together a report on the crashes that happened to a Lion Air 737 MAX and an Ethiopia Airways 737 MAX. So that's the Boeing 737 MAX, new planes that crash. And that programme was infinitely worth watching. I really enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it. Well, I don't think enjoyed it is the right word, but in fact I got the full information, or felt that I had the full information. The fact of the matter is that in those two plane crashes, 346 people died. And in all honesty, you have to applaud the fact that all of the 387 aircraft in service were and still are grounded. They were grounded on March the 13th. So they've been sitting around in airports and aeroplane parking lots for an increasing number of months. Boeing installed something called a Manoeuvring Characteristics Augmentation System. You can find out more about that in the BBC Panorama programme. And in reality, they didn't tell anybody what they'd done. They did it to kind of balance out heavier engines. And eventually, after the first accident, they actually said something about it. But in fact, what's happened is that Boeing seem to have constantly tried to duck the issue. And I find that really awful in this day and age. We have a world in which we talk about transparency a lot, and Boeing, I have to say, are looking like the least transparent company you can find. That's really scary, I have to tell you. I don't fly much now. I used to fly quite a bit, but in reality, I don't much. But I would have a serious personal doubt, I think, if I was offered a flight on a 737 MAX when they come back into service, at least until they've done a year or two service without one or two of them falling out of the sky. The reality for ordinary people like you and me is that we don't have much choice. If we want to go somewhere, well, we catch an aeroplane and go. We ring up, make a booking, do it online, whatever you like. But in reality, I wonder if people are going to say what the airlines, I think, are saying. Can we trust these people to build a plane that's going to fly all the time, or is it going to be one that does have accidents? 300 and something of them, 387 of them, that's a lot of planes. And if Boeing are going to put them right and then put them back in service, can we be sure that Boeing have put them right? Right. Because they didn't put the issue right the first time when they actually built it. They kind of said, oh, well, there's nothing much wrong with it. It was kind of a situation, a chain, their CEO said on television, of events. Do you know, I think the worst thing about this is the complete disregard that a huge company like Boeing seems to have for its passengers. Ordinary people like you and me are jumping in those aeroplanes willy-nilly. We're going on holiday, we're travelling for business, we're doing whatever, and Boeing were desperate to kind of hush it all up, not say that they had a problem. I'm sure they knew they had a problem, and I'm sure they still know they had a problem, and they still have a problem, otherwise the planes would be back in service. I think Boeing have made a major mistake, and I'm not too keen on the idea of flying in a 737 MAX. I think I'll walk. Okay, I'm Chris, this is the Old Geezer's Diary. If you like what I do, click on like. If you'd like to see more, click on subscribe. If you'd like to get a notification to tell you when I've got a new video online, click on the little bell next to the subscribe button. You'll find me online on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and also, of course, on my little website. So just search for Old Geezer's Diary and you'll find me. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any comments to make on this or any other videos that I make, please get in touch, and I almost invariably respond unless you're using rude words. Okay, I'm Chris, and I'll see you soon.